Meanwhile, some Democratic lawmakers are urging President Biden not to cave in to McCarthy's demands. This week, 11 Democratic senators wrote a letter calling on the president to invoke Section 4 of the 14th Amendment, which states that our nation's public debt shall not be questioned. NAACP President Derek Johnson warned in an open letter to Congress that these Republican-endorsed cuts to federal aid, they disproportionately affect Black Americans, telling Democrats, quote, do not accept the false choice between triggering an utterly avoidable economic catastrophe driven by politicians or imposing costs and harms on Black communities. So how do we navigate a path forward that doesn't impose economic catastrophe on everyday Americans? Will the White House and Republicans reach a deal? Are these talks just performance art doomed to fail at the hands of the House's most radical members? Here to shed some light on these negotiations and hopefully answer some questions is Democratic Senator Sheldon Whitehouse of Rhode Island. He is one of the Senate Democrats calling for the president to invoke the 14th Amendment, and he is also the chair of the Budget Committee. Thank you, Senator. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Senator, the letter you signed says that the group looks forward to meeting with President Biden on the 14th Amendment issue. First, is there a meeting expected to take place? But just last week, Heather Boucher, who is a member of the President's White House Council on Economic Advisors, she told me that the 14th Amendment is not really an option at the moment that the president is considering. So just if you could, your response to that.
I think the problem right now is that we have a McCarthy manufactured crisis, a MAGA manufactured crisis. There's only one person in the congressional leadership and the president, the big five, who wants a default and is threatening a default, and that's Speaker McCarthy. So the best thing would be for him to back off that threat and let the process of American government, he controls the Appropriations Committee in the House, we do in the Senate, we work together and we go through ordinary committee transparent processes, put the pin back in the hand grenade and stop this. The problem comes is if he can't figure out how to do a deal, can't actually close a deal, or can't sell a deal to his caucus, all three of which might be true. In that case, there's got to be a fallback other than default, and that's where the constitutional option comes in.
So even if the White House does end up choosing the 14th Amendment route, I think it would most certainly trigger litigation. So what would happen in the meantime? And then is the platinum coin provision an option here?
I don't see that as an option, but we'll see. I think when you're looking at default and you're looking at the global economic consequences of it, that may, I think, make Speaker McCarthy come to his senses and take the hand grenade off the table. These are things even people who are adversaries can negotiate in good faith. But it's not good faith to come in with threats. It's not good faith to come in without a negotiating position. It's not good faith to use the debt limit hand grenade to try to extort things even your own people don't want to support, at least in the Senate.
Senator, what are some red lines for Senate Democrats? We talked about in the open that you were one of the senators that sent a letter to the president, signed that letter talking about the 14th Amendment, but also we've heard a lot of talk about work requirements. What are some of the red lines that if they made it into a deal, Senate Democrats would not play ball?
Well, I think we need to look at the whole package and not try to pick things out of it. But obviously a matter of concern to Senate Democrats is that we have a tax system that is extremely unfair, that allows billionaires to pay lower tax rates than firefighters. And if the Republicans won't give an inch on any tax measure, even to correct the injustices of the current tax code, then I think we're going to have some real difficulty. Now, obviously, anything is better than default, but here's where it's important, I think, for the president to have the constitutional option in his back pocket.
As we talk right now, it is Saturday. The Senate is actually in recess this upcoming week, but Majority Leader Schumer has instructed members to be able to get back to the Capitol within 24 hours. What have you all been told about if a deal comes about? What will the process be? Will you all come back? Will you have a briefing once you get back? Will the briefing happen before virtually? How's it going to shake down?
I expect if anything happens, Chuck will do a conference call with all of us just because of the difficulties of travel, we'll all be scrambling back as fast as we can. I believe they want the bill to start in the House and bring it over to the Senate, but that's still to be determined. And then with any luck, we can vote it through before the markets really begin to panic. Because once markets begin to panic, it's very hard to put the toothpaste back in the tube.
You talk about the markets. I mean, I have been reading about the potential for S&P, who in 2011, they notoriously, they downgraded the United States from a AAA bond rating to a AA plus. Are you concerned that that could potentially happen again this go round?
Absolutely, and worse. That is the kind of dynamite Speaker McCarthy is playing with. And when it all goes wrong, if it all goes wrong, he needs to be held accountable for the risk he's put the American economy at in order to accomplish his extremist MAGA goals.
Senator Whitehouse, I will be in touch with your team because I'm very interested to see what comes of these conversations between you and the White House and negotiators over the next couple of really days, 24 to 48 hours. But before I let you go, NBC News did recently report that Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein suffered previously undisclosed complications stemming from that case of shingles that kept her absent from Congress months ago. I don't have to tell you what people are saying. There are Democratic lawmakers who've called on the senator to resign. There are others who say these calls are sexist and she should be able to continue to serve. Where do you shake down on this? Are you concerned about her? Are you concerned about her ability to serve?
We need to be very clear about what the rules are and what is going on. The Republicans are blocking anyone replacing Dianne Feinstein on the Judiciary Committee. This is part of their mania about right-wing judges. And whether Dianne Feinstein temporarily leaves the Judiciary Committee, or whether she permanently steps down from the Judiciary Committee, or whether she resigns from the Senate, the rule is the same, and the Republicans can block her successor from getting onto the Judiciary Committee, which will be an obstacle for us to continue to clear judges onto the courts. So she is doing the one thing that allows us to move judges and continue to proceed. And considering how difficult this has been for her, I think she is being astonishingly brave.
I feel like you have a lot of foresight, Senator, because I am literally going to do later in the show, we're going to talk about the progress, frankly, that Donald Trump made in appointing judges to the federal bench and the record progress that President Biden has made, and it's why elections matter. Rhode Island Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, thank you very much for your time today, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.